I just realized I don't have an intro for this video. So I started putting some of the parts on the K truck, and that's what you're gonna see in this video. It's kind of just disjointed and all over the place, but here we go. Even though this sticker says that I have almost 10,000 kilometers left before an oil change, I wasn't there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an oil change on this just for peace of mind. With the front seat removed, which is as easy as undoing that clasp and pulling it out, I now have access to drain the oil, to check the oil, and to add oil. Looks like a 17 millimeter right here. But to get to the filter, I have to go over to the passenger side. And right under here, I can access the oil filter. Just turn the oil drain pan, spin it loose. There we go. I looked up cross-reference numbers online for this oil filter, and I found a whole lot, but I couldn't find anything locally that was on the shelf until I went to the Tractor Supply, and I got this Purolator for about $4. It's the same size, it's just a little bit longer, which means it'll hold a little bit more oil. So let's put this on. Slick up that gasket. And now let's hope she fits. Beautiful, like a glove. Looks like it's pretty much done draining, so I can go ahead and replace this and top it off with some oil. Evidently there's no good cross-reference number for the air filter, so I did order one of those online, and I got it on eBay. It wasn't too bad, and hopefully it'll last me a long time. Whew. And this one is definitely filthy. I had to cut a little bit of the gasket to make that fit in that box. The description on eBay said that I might have to do that, which probably means it's not the exact right fitment. So if anybody knows a good cross-reference, a good place to get stock ones that won't cost me 60 bucks, let me know. Most K trucks have 12-inch wheels. These are tiny. It'd be actually really hard to find 12-inch tires and more expensive than just finding something bigger. So we're gonna go to 14s on this. You probably recognize these as Miata wheels. These are the ones they call the Daisy wheels. And I think without the center caps, they actually look pretty cool. These are like 14 by 6, I think. They might be narrower than that. But this 4x100 lug pattern fits this truck perfectly. As I'm working on some of the interior of this truck, I noticed these holes here on the A-pillar. I'm guessing that in the van version of this vehicle, there would be grab handles right here. I have these Password JDM style bolts, and they actually thread in perfectly into these holes. And you could just use them to cap off the holes, but I'm gonna make my own handles. I have some nylon strap. I don't know what this was used for, but I'm just gonna cut off lengths to fit with a little bit of slack so that I can have a handle, make my own. All right, as you can see, all I'm doing is taking a very sharp pair of scissors to cut this nylon strap. I'm rounding off the edges, and after I round off these edges, the next thing I'm going to have to do is use a lighter to burn them to keep the edges from fraying apart. I used the original one, and then I line it up with the other one. Here I am burning the edges, and you know how this works if you've done this before. Just don't catch them on fire. These ended up being about 7.5 inches long. Now I use the washer and use a hot soldering iron to make the holes so they won't fray either. With both straps made, now I just need to install them. With both of them installed, I think that looks a whole heck of a lot better than nothing right there. And this was like, less than $1 modification. And it's actually useful. I mean, they're strong. You might have seen in the previous video that I had a steering wheel that I had purchased. It was sitting in the back of the truck. And so now I'm going to try to install it in here. My only concern is that it's going to be too far forward with the hub kit and the dish, but I'm going to find out. So it looks like now from the steering wheel to the dashboard, you know, it's not even a thumb of distance. Now the new wheel is going to be a little smaller in diameter, which will give you more room under your knees. I don't need a whole lot, I'm not that tall, but it might help. So first thing you gotta do is remove the horn button. I already yanked that off. But before I go any further, I'm gonna straighten up this wheel with the wheels so that when I get the new wheel on, I make sure it's pointing the right direction. After a trip around the block, I realized that this steering wheel is a little bit offset. So that means that I'm gonna mark the shaft with a little mark pointing up. And that way, if this gets turned while I'm taking it off, I'll make sure to line up this line with the hazard button. All right, off camera, I loosened it up. You want to take this nut almost off so that there's some space in between it. And then you're going to yank the wheel towards you. And that way, if it comes off, it's going to be stopped by that and it won't hit you in the face. Sometimes this works. Pulling didn't work. I ended up pushing down on the steering wheel and that broke it free. So now I can take off this nut and the wheel will come off. All right, here's the hub that I bought before I even owned the truck. It's got a little top mark here and it's either a little too far that way or a little too far that way. I think that's the way I need it to be. Now the problem I can already see is that it is just way too deep. I need to research and see if they make a shallower one that fits this. And then with the wheel, because with the wheel on, it's looking like, remember I had like a thumb of distance. Now I've got like almost a whole hand of distance. I'm gonna install it and see, but I feel like it's gonna be in my lap. So let me get it all together. Well, when you buy cheap parts, you gotta deal with stuff like this. I'm gonna try. You can see it's a lot further away than I probably want it to be. Do I have a lot more leg room? Yeah, but I'm not sure if I can comfortably drive. I'll find out. If not, I'll have to do something different, either a shallow dish wheel or a smaller adapter. This kit came with, the steering wheel came with a horn button and the steering wheel adapter came with a horn button. I want to run this one, but it just doesn't seem to fit tight. But again, this is all like cheap, low budget stuff. So I'm gonna finish getting these tightened up and we'll see how it works. All right, the wheel is fully installed. The horn works and it's close, but it's far away from my legs. It's kind of far from the turn signals, but with the window open like this, but with the window closed, I feel like I'm gonna be bus driver. But I'll run it, see if I like it. If I don't, I'll look into a different hub kit or a flatter wheel. I really like the look of this wheel, but who knows? Might as well do something about this factory shift knob too. It's a little worn out, it's a little gross. You put something a little flashier on here. Might like it, might hate it, but I'm gonna try it. It's all cheap stuff. I know it might seem played out, but you know, what's a JDM car without a Japanese subway ring? So I'm gonna install this up here where there's no sun visor on the passenger side. Just have that right there. So it's my truck, I can do what I want. Well, I think that's all the things I'm gonna do for right now. Got the wheels, steering wheel, shift knob, got some new cool grab handles. I did add this clip-on mirror, which is actually kind of great. I usually don't like clip-on mirrors, but that's nice. My ring. This is mostly just cosmetic stuff. And next time I really need to start doing some electronics, put in a radio. I have a digital speedometer so that I can have miles per hour. I have a clock. I mean, just a lot of little things that I'm going to try to put in here. I don't want to go overboard, but you know, this is the part that I really like, the part where I'm at when I'm using the vehicle. So that's where I'm going to end this one. Thanks for following along. And if you have any advice or anything that you could tell me about this or ask questions, I'm happy to answer them. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.